There we are.
There we are. um, I guess we were running like a little bit late tonight because I just had a crazy like hour and a half or so. My router randomly died, so I had to go get a new one. And I went and bought it, came back, and got it all set up.
And here you
Right
are.
here I am.
Friday
It's kind of a
with
mess there by the router, but I can fix it up afterwards.
yeah. What do you think? Your GameSack hat gave you the power to do it?
No, I just found this. I was about to head downstairs, and I saw it sitting there, and I said, I'm just gonna wear that. I won this hat several years ago, I think. It was like off of a Twitter contest. Like I won this, and it's like I responded to something on Twitter and won it, and it showed up. This is probably the second time I've ever worn it. I wore it one time to take a photo, like just kind of a joke photo where I had like a GameSack shirt on and I was wearing the GameSack hat at the same time.
I mean, you know, I could see you wearing it in an episode sometime, maybe.
Yeah, why not?
You know,
I'm not really a baseball cap kind of guy. Maybe I am more now than I was when I was younger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not a big hat guy in general.
Yeah, me either.
Despite your
to do it when I now that I have no hair.
yeah, well, I mean, especially considering the hair in the back of my head is not as thick as it once was. I do wear a hat if I'm going to be outside for an extended period, but I don't necessarily favor hats.
Yeah, I definitely do that more when I'm outside because I don't want to get cancer in my head.
So shall we go ahead and get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
This game, as you can see, does have a save feature, and
this one has a memory manager built into it. You can actually see how many blocks you have.
Oh, really? Do you have to boot it up in a particular way or something?
No, I think you got to hit like select or something like that at the start and continue screen. Maybe it is.
Select is just select. So I don't know, but I'll go ahead or I wonder how you do it.
I can look it up.
Oops, I accidentally selected continue.
That's all right. That's all right.
Because I did when I first got the game, I just beat the first level. So I have confirmed the save feature is working, but I want to start from the beginning.
Yeah. So I'm kind of excited to see what all these new features are on this router. The main thing that I care about is being able to kick my daughter off of the internet when I need to. It's been causing a lot of trouble. not just doing bad things on the internet, but kind of having a bad behavior if she spends too much time on it.
Just kind of a meltdown.
Yeah. When I was young, I used to do the same thing when I had just like when I had to turn off a game. My mom would always call it Nintendo behavior. And now I guess that's become iPad behavior. And I tell my mom about it every once in a while, and she just thinks it's funny. She's like, now you know. Now you know how it's for me.
I don't remember being that way. Although I'm surprised your mom didn't call it Sega behavior.
Well, I mean, Nintendo, everything was Nintendo.
Even though you had a Sega.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Nintendo tapes.
Yeah.
So, this game, I believe, takes place sometime after the others, and the main character is not Yuko. I don't know her name, but she is another Mugen Senshi Valis, I guess. A new Phantasm soldier.
Takes place in the good old year of 1990X. Whoa! That battleship, like, it really fell down there pretty quick.
But yeah, it's good this has a save feature, because I mean, with Valis 1, I was up a long time trying to beat that. I don't know. I mean, maybe it has save feature, but I don't know. But I was determined to beat it. But when I streamed Valis 3, I didn't get super far, so I continued it the next day on the backloggery stream. But we'll see how far I get in this. Like, based on what I played, like the game quality feels much more in line with the remake of Valis 1 that is on here, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, well, that was so this is probably got everything in order.
I think this came out before, so the quality is probably like somewhere in between them. Like the Valis 3 was very good overall, but definitely some little janky bits. I have no idea what's going on in the story, but I'm always down for looking at these PC Engine story scene artwork graphics.
Yeah.
You know. So you've got a new mini coming out tomorrow.
Yeah,
we have a new mini coming out
at some point tomorrow, probably like around the morning or early day. We shot a mini about the Super Nintendo on Switch, and we cover a lot of different stuff in it. But the thing is the service is very similar to the NES, so we still managed to talk for 22 minutes about it. I mean, the videos, we talked a lot longer than that.
We talked cover almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, we
had the misguided idea to discuss every single game,
which would have been fine if we had moved a little quicker. But the thing is, it was so hot in my attic during it. Like by the end, my shirt was a completely different color, and I was like, I can't use this. I can't do anything with it. So I really took about 40 minutes and cut it down to 22 minutes. I think the goal is for minis to be under 25 minutes, which isn't exactly a mini, but
yeah. I mean, I think asking people to listen to us yammer on for longer than that is a big ask.
Yeah, exactly. So I got it down to that amount, and I'm going to start naming them, like labeling them in the title, like MLiG Mini. And I kind of feel like us deciding to do that, because we didn't do that with the Genesis. We didn't actually say MLiG Mini on the title on YouTube, where people look at it and they know what they're in for, what they're getting. But we're going to be doing that going forward. And I think that just resigning myself to doing that, like, freed me up and like took a lot of pressure off. And I was like, okay, so I feel like I can just be a little bit looser with it, even though it really wasn't loose the way that it was edited, because I moved things all over the place. This one was a lot more editing actually than the Genesis Mini one was. If you look at the timelines between the two, this one was edited a lot more. But I kind of cut to the other person every once in a while, so that it makes it feel like a regular conversation, like we're actually talking to each other, because a lot of people thought that we weren't actually talking to each other before.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think it came together pretty good. But when you're watching it, were you kind of surprised that it was not even in the order that we discussed it?
There was a few things where I realized it wasn't, but I was really surprised, just the breadth of the conversation. Like, we talk about a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, we really moved around a lot, and hopefully people will enjoy it. But the thing is I think that I needed to get myself in a mindset of, where people can look at it and be like, oh, okay, this is the MLiG Mini, and here's what I expect out of that. And that kind of frees us up to be a little bit more experimental with them, I think, in the future.
Yes.
I would like to do things with, like, just talking about a game, or, like we thought about, I would like to do one even just like on Link's Awakening, because I've only played the game once and you played it lots of times, and I thought it'd be kind of a cool back and forth about it.
Yeah.
So I think that might happen. We're going to try not to make them 2 in a row, but I think in the future it could happen.
Yeah.
You don't want to do 2 in a row because you've seen some comments that have made you a little nervous, where people think that they're getting nervous about you not being in every episode or not being in more episodes than you are.
Yeah, I mean, and some of those people probably don't watch the live streams. They probably don't know about the documentary series I'm working on. But I can appear in episodes. I just don't have time to dedicate a lot to them right now. But right. I did hit a big milestone this week. I finished at least the draft. I mean, I need to do some editing passes, but I finished the part 4 of 5 script for the doc series. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty happy about that. It took some time. It was a challenging one because I had there were a lot of sort of story threads to unravel.
Right.
Which was, this is the Kevtris one. And once like the order of all these things that like happened, especially like kind of revolving around like the Zimba 3000 game announced and some of the all the other things that happened around that same time. It's actually a pretty cool story how all that comes together, and I think it's probably a lot cooler than Kevin realizes himself.
I'm excited to see it. I didn't get a chance to read the script yet.
Yeah,
but I'm excited to read it, and also because I'm the one narrating that one, aren't I?
Yeah. You're doing parts 2 and 4, and I'm doing parts 1, 3, and 5.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Do I have a magic attack? I need to check. I do. I did the wrong die. Oh, it worked. I don't know what that star is. It looks like I'm invincible.
We haven't made any more stickers. I think you can get them via the Teespring link that's like on all of our videos. It's.
Do you think you can get some made before Retro World?
I mean, I could. I don't know if I have time to screw around with the image.
Yeah.
I wanted to tweak the image on it, and I just don't.
Yeah, I tried to make a version that would be a little better, but it didn't really turn out very well.
Yeah, I mean, the edge doesn't really bother me.
No, but if we're going to do another run, I'd like to improve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're just using a regular PC Engine 2 button for this, right?
Oh no, I'm using. My cord is barely reaching to show it on camera. It's the Coury Commander. It's a 6-button controller, which obviously I don't need, but I much prefer. So the PC Engine D-pad feels a little funny to me for some reason. Like, it doesn't look that bad, but I don't hate it, but I've never been totally happy with it. So I was kind of looking for an alternative, and when I saw that this existed, I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't certainly not as crazy as like the GameCube Hori pad. But when I saw this, I'm like, oh, it's kind of like the GameCube shape with the same D-pad that controller has, which I really like. So I was like, well, you know, I felt like it was worth the investment for, like, you know, just having a controller that I would really like for the system, you know?
Yeah.
So this is my go-to, even though I really only need the 2 buttons.
That tiger, man. That guy, he looks like the final boss. He could be the... But yeah, I mean, I feel they have that mini done. Well, I mean, I have a couple of tiny little tweaks to make to it, but it was fairly easy for me to edit. I didn't feel burnt out on it by the time I was finished.
That's good.
Which is, I guess, the intent.
But yeah, I mean, that's a big plus of minis, I feel like.
Yeah. Thoughts on the DF Retro Mini Genesis video? Is very good as expected.
I was looking for it yesterday, but
I don't think it was. Morning.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I thought it might release yesterday, and I was like, oh, where is it? So I haven't had a chance yet today.
But I mean, it was like we talked with John a lot during the making of it, and even when we got ours, because we both got ours at the same time, but he didn't have time to do like an early impressions video like we did. Our impressions video was essentially our video on it.
It's just, I mean, it wasn't a subject that was worth revisiting for us.
Right. I mean, I think we covered most of what people covered in their full videos anyways. And not a lot of people did full videos, I felt like. Yeah. There was very lax restrictions on like what was the difference between a preview and a review. You couldn't show like more than 15 minutes of gameplay. You couldn't
give it a score.
You couldn't give it a score, but we don't score anything. We just say what it is and what it does. The whole audio lag thing, though, I mean, it's 11 frames is pretty over the top. And just
one of the things we talk about in the Super Nintendo video is that the audio lag is there, but it's actually like compared to
like 3 frames.
Yeah, compared to almost everything else we've tested of that kind of stuff lately, it's pretty darn good. Like, it's not something I would notice if I weren't looking for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I wonder if it's easier or less laggy because of like because of like the sample based sounds.
Man, I don't know what happened, but it kind of looked like my characters got like tore up. Like there was like he slashed us and there was blood and everything. But now I guess we're okay for some reason.
28 Beans is asking what our thoughts are on the PSIO and Mega SD having proprietary firmwares that require a serial number to access.
Well, you know what's interesting to me, and maybe it's just that I've paid less attention to the Terra Onion stuff. Like I feel like there's less complaining and backlash on the Terra Onion devices compared to PSIO, and I don't know if that's necessarily because of any particular difference in how the DRM is handled. I was definitely pretty disappointed with that aspect of the PSIO, and I didn't realize that was something that the Super SD System 3 did, or if I knew that, I completely forgot. So when I came across that in your script on the Mega SD, I was like, "Ooh, really?" So it is something that I mean, it's not a deal breaker for me, but it is kind of at the same time to me. It's like it's like if you're making a device for the retro community, I feel like you need to operate in some good faith, or you should at least. I mean, that's my take. I know things can get stolen, but if you don't use DRM, people want to support you more, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't, like, it doesn't really bother me a ton. Like, I don't think about it that much. I like the fact that, like, with the Terra Onion, it's just like it's in an account, and you just log in and you can choose from, like, the different devices that you have.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure that if Terra Onion's website disappears someday, like, someone's going to figure out a way around that, but it's still... I mean, when you're dealing with something for, you know, systems that are...
We got a $2 donation from Jonathan Hinson saying, thoughts on GameStop's announced up to 200 stores closing.
I mean, that I think is a relatively small fraction overall, probably. I mean, I went to GameStop for I basically only go to GameStop anymore to, like, buy their exclusive physical games. So I went to buy Metal Wolf Chaos not long ago, like last week. What's that little boy blending into the background? But yeah, I mean, so I don't really have much love for GameStop anymore, but, like, I want them to be around.
Yeah.
You know, and I do appreciate that they are another outlet for some of those exclusive physical things, because, like, you know, they had Secret of Mana, which I thought was a pretty big deal. I mean, some of the smaller... Yeah, some of the smaller companies like Limited Run and stuff, like, they have not been able to secure deals with companies like Square Enix. I mean, apparently they can do Lucas Arts, but I haven't seen Square Enix happen yet. I mean, they even did Sony with Jak and Daxter, which is pretty cool, but, like, you know, I'm sure GameStop has a pull with certain companies that, you know, some of those might not be able to get.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel the same way in that I only go when I have something specific in mind that I want. I just think that walking into the stores, just how they feel, is really obnoxious now. And I understand what they had to do. It's what they did to try to expand their business. Is like, you know, there's like so many like toys, and like more than half of the store is toys, the ones that I've been to, and it's just really loud. I mean, like, not audibly loud, but visually it's very loud.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, like, I understand what it means, but it's just never been the same to me. I grew up with Electronics Boutique and EB Games, so I'm very partial to them. And when they went, I mean, I know that they are around in the up in Canada, but they are owned by, I'm not sure if they look any different or if they look like GameStops up there. But I'm partial to like the feeling that the EB Games and Electronics Boutique gave me.
I mean, for me, that was Funkoland, you know, which was also swallowed up by GameStop.
Yeah. And, you know, Babbage's is another one for me. I see Frank Stresser is mentioning Game Crazy. And there was a Game Crazy in my hometown for a little while. And I liked it a lot. It kind of popped up and then disappeared pretty quickly. I think I talked about it a couple of weeks ago that probably my favorite game store besides Electronics Boutique for the longest time was kind of a Western New York thing called it was inside of video factories called Zappers. I don't know if anybody in the chat is familiar with Zappers, but I used to love going to Zappers. You could pay 50 cents and play a game for 30 minutes. And, you know, KB Toys is always really overpriced.
See, it was the, I feel like I told my story on KB recently. Like, at least at my KB, like, their games were, you know, they were the lowest price that was, you know, it was as low as, you know, anyone else was selling them for. And they gave a $10 store credit when you picked up any pre-order. And, like, there were very few games that, like, I couldn't pre-order. I don't remember ever, like, being like, I want to pre-order this, and they're like, oh, no, we aren't offering pre-order on that. So, like, I was regularly getting $50 games for $40 for years.
You just keep on chaining it together, essentially.
Huh?
You just kept on doing it, you know, just...
Yeah, I mean, you know, and some of those PlayStation games were $40 anyway, so then I could get, like, Final Fantasy 9 for $30, you know, day one.
I see that 28 Beans is saying thoughts on the Retro Fighters Dreamcast controller. Is it done? Is it out? Is it available? I did not back it, but I did finally get this. I finally got around to getting one of these. I got the N64 controller one. I got a green one.
I think you might have missed a donation or two.
Oh, did I? You know what? I missed a donation from $2 from Joey. Thank you. Sorry about that. Sorry for the delay there. You guys play any Daemon X Machina? No.
I played the demo when it first came out, and I downloaded the demo again because they said something about it on the Nintendo Direct, but I kind of missed whether it was a new demo, because I remember there were a lot of criticisms about the gameplay when the first demo came out, and I wasn't sure if they made like a revised one with like some feedback, because they acted like they were, you know, interested in implementing feedback, so I wasn't sure if they did. But I downloaded it again thinking, oh, you know, maybe I'll give it another shot, and then I ended up deleting it because I was like, you know, I don't think I'm really that interested in it. I did beat Astral Chain this week, though. I liked it overall.
They have a good ending?
No. It did not have a good ending. There is like a chapter 12. There is like a chapter 12 after I beat it. I tried to look up like if is it worth playing chapter 12. There wasn't a lot of information out there about it, but I saw at least one thing that said like the story wasn't very important, so I don't know if I'm going to play that or not.
Well, I didn't play any. I wanted to continue the two games that I had started this week. I didn't play either one of them.
I've got this giant robot dude with me. It's like totally different from the other Valis character that you actually would get to play as.
This seems like it's a lot easier than the other ones.
I mean, it's hard to say. I feel like I'm going to have to restart this level because I think I'm on my last. Whoa.
We got a $2 donation from Mitch B saying 20K, but only use the N64 controllers for every system. No, I wouldn't take it.
I mean, I do think it would be rather limiting as much as I love the N64 controller. And 20K isn't that much, so.
Yeah, in the scheme of things. But in general, I really like this. And this is coming from somebody who does not like the N64 pad. And I was saying the other day, this makes me exactly 1 time more likely to play N64 games.
1 time more likely?
Exactly the same amount. But no, I like it. I was saying the only weird thing about it is, playing Star Fox 64. You have, your right barrel roll on the R bumper, and then Z is used for the other one for going left. So it just feels weird because it's just kind of skewed.
So that doesn't, that would have never occurred to me to be bothered by.
I mean, it's fine. Like I'm.
This is a pretty long level, and I just game over it, so I'm like way at the beginning. That's okay though.
But I'll give it a shot. I'll try some other stuff out with it. It's really light, and it has a 10-foot cord on it, and I can combine that with a 6-foot extension, and it works.
Is there any way to get rid of those spikes on the floor? Because
I honestly don't think that outside of Star Fox and Mario, I don't think I've ever beaten any N64 game. I think I
wait. Are you serious?
I've only Paper Mario, but all that stuff I've never beaten an N64 game for the first time on Zelda, I guess I did back in the day, and GoldenEye, but now that I think about it, those are probably the only 2 games I've beaten on the system on the N64 originally.
That's.
So maybe I need to pick something and play through it on the N64.
You should.
I went from saying that I have not played any game, and I was like, oh, but this one, the naming.
Makes me sad.
I beat Mario 64, but I beat it on Virtual Console, so not technically on an N64. Although this controller does make me want to see if I can go back to it, if I would like it more.
What game?
Mario 64. If I like it with this controller.
I mean, I love the loose feel of Mario's acrobatics in that game. I just feel like it just gives you the ability to do so much more than modern games let you do.
Yeah. Maybe I should play through Banjo-Kazooie. I wonder if I'd like it.
Might. I mean, it's very much an exploration game. It's less, in some respects, it feels a little closer to how Mario feels today, where it's a little more, the controls are a little more grounded, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if sticky is the right word necessarily, but.
Well, I can enjoy that a bit more than Mario 64 probably, but we'll see. Maybe I should commit to that. I saw someone ask if I had seen the CGQ Dreamcast launch video, and I have. It's excellent, and we actually just decided the other day. So, Chris from Classic Gaming Quarterly is going to be at Retro World, and we're going to be there as well. And Chris and I are doing a panel together, and we're going to do a live magazine read-through when we chose our magazine for the panel. I'm pretty excited about it. It's the July 1992 issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly.
I I was looking earlier tonight at that Return of the Jedi issue that you gave me, which I think was like August '94.
Right.
And it seems like a really good issue. That would be a fun one to do a read of, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this one's a big deal because this is their review of Street Fighter 2, which they had been hyping up for ages at that point, and it's the first game that they ever gave a 10.
Oh, wow.
They got 2 10s. There's some other good stuff in there. Yeah, the 2 games of the month side by side are Street Fighter 2 and Turtles 4.
Was Street Fighter 2 really hyped up, or was it kind of just
Oh
like...
my God.
Was it just like it came out and people... I guess what I'm asking is like... Because, I mean, no one cares about Street Fighter 1.
No, but Street Fighter 2 had like taken the arcades by storm at that point, and it's like the game that...
well, I guess I was talking about the arcade version. Was it hyped? Like, was the arcade version hyped?
No, the arcade version just kind of showed up, and it wasn't what anybody was expecting. And I think they didn't even... You could do combos in it, but it was not built with the idea of making combos. Like, I don't think it was even an intentional choice of having...
So they built the console ones more
act,
around that.
which is...
I mean, for anyone who's like baffled by me asking questions about Street Fighter 2, I don't really care about fighting games that much, so...
Right, but I guess it's just hard to explain.
My understanding of Street Fighter 2 is about as robust as my understanding of football. Actually, I understand Street Fighter 2 a whole lot more than I understand football, though. I take that back.
I mean, you were reading, basically, you're just reading Nintendo Power at the time anyways.
I mean, not even that, really. Like, I didn't have a subscription. Like, I just occasionally, like, would read one.
And you didn't go to your arcade, so you were not really aware of what was happening.
Really, like...
It's I say it a lot, but it's almost impossible to explain just how big of a deal Street Fighter 2 was when it was like in 1992, 93, and 94 without actually being involved.
I mean, honestly, like the first one-on-one fighting games that I ever really remember being much aware of was more like Mortal Kombat than Street Fighter. Like, I just didn't have any friends that were into fighting games until like '94. And they were more into Mortal Kombat than Street Fighter. And it did not interest me really. So like Soul Calibur, for whatever reason, is like the one thing that has kind of outside of like Smash Brothers, which I mean, it's not like I'm huge into Smash, but like.
Yeah, I mean, Mortal Kombat obviously was a big deal, but it was a big deal because Street Fighter 2 had really popularized fighting games.
I don't think you can change characters once you get to the boss. Which kind of stinks a little. Oh, I hope that's a checkpoint, because this is a really long level. You know, I feel like the sword girl is... At first I thought her sword strikes were stronger than this girl, but I feel like she's nowhere near as good overall.
If people are going to be sad that they're going to miss the magazine read-through, Chris says that he's going to record it. He's bringing his camera to use like on the projector so people can see the actual magazine, but he's going to record it as well, and then he's going to edit it and upload it to his channel as one of his magazine read-throughs, and like actually like record gameplay and all this other stuff, and make it like a real episode of one of his read-throughs. So I've been kind of reading through it and maybe going doing a bit more research than I normally do, especially when we do our read-throughs on the like for our video logs and also on our streams. It's very much off the cuff at that point. But what I'm doing with this is I'm kind of going through I'm going to read the entire magazine front to back and kind of make notes, and maybe if there's something that I haven't played, I'm going to play it ahead of time, you know, so I can have something to offer.
You're gonna have a hard time keeping it within like panel time.
I know. That's the thing, and that's honestly the hardest part. Wait, you die? Or is this the next level?
I mean, I hope this is the next level. It looks a lot like the previous, though.
Okay.
So if I game over, I don't know.
Yes, video. I mean, how does it just have like a DC HDMI in it? Probably a GDMU and lights. Like what else made it? Did they have like the wireless controllers and stuff built into it as well?
Wait, what are we talking about?
Metal Jesus released a video of an $800 Dreamcast. I would it probably has a DC HDMI in it and a GDMU, but in the thumbnail he's holding it up and it's just has like all these LEDs in it. It's like I wouldn't pay $800 for an obnoxious looking system like that. I don't care if it's cool. I mean, that's gonna light up your entire room if you're trying to play. So no GDMU or wireless, just lights and stupid custom logo.
Wow.
But it does matter also recap the entire board, but
does Dreamcast really need recapping? I mean, maybe the power supply, but
yeah, I mean, does it have one of those power supplies, one of the better power supplies in it?
I think I'm going to be finding out whether that was a checkpoint after that boss. I sure hope so.
I do want to get one of those new power supplies. Also, the thing I want to get one of those rechargeable batteries for the Game Boy Advance. I can't remember.
Oh, I remember Bob talking about that on the podcast, and he was like, "I don't understand the point of this." I mean, I guess I'm to be honest, I'm kind of getting less interested in rechargeable batteries these days, because I mean, it's going to make systems like PS3 like a big pain in the future, you know?
Yeah, well, you can change the rechargeable battery on it.
Right, but I guess it's just kind of like, I guess I'm just accepting the reality that we're going to need to, you know, just use batteries, you know, maybe rechargeable batteries or, you know, disposable batteries, but I mean, we're gonna have to use them for a lot of things anyway, so I'm kind of like, oh, maybe Microsoft actually does have the right idea.
Smoke Monster, the Pico PSUs are the way to go for the Dreamcast. Are they expensive?
Oh, we got a donation from Reluctant Hero. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. $4.99 says.
Wow.
I wanted to thank you guys for being one of the big influences that finally pushed me into buying a Duo R this year, building my library and loving it. What games do you have so far?
Yeah, I have to admit, like, as a guy that's not really a shmup aficionado, I have found a lot more to love on the PC Engine than it's kind of a video I want to make someday. Is like a PC Engine guide for the non-shmup fan. Because I feel like the fact that like shmups are all that is talked about sometimes for the system, like kind of maybe turn a lot of people away from it who would like it.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like how the special weapon works in this game. If you get the longer bar, then you have 2 tiers, and Like it just recharges. See, like I can just do that, and I don't. Like, I mean, obviously there's your time in the level, so you can't probably just wait around forever, but I should probably be abusing it a lot more than I do.
We are nowhere near close enough to doing a Jag video. I have a Jaguar controller, but no system or anything. So,
Kevtris made a Jaguar controller that works with his custom Atari 5200 because he hates that controller. I can understand.
I got a $5 donation from Tony Galvin. Says, disappointments aside, how does the Genesis Mini compare to the SNES and NES?
To be honest, I haven't put that much time into either of them really, because you did most of the stuff for the video on the NES, and we didn't do a video on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, they all serve a purpose. I think they all have a certain.
I like the SNES because it has the interpolation.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that for sure.
That's a big plus for it.
But I think the game lineup on the Genesis is probably the strongest.
I agree.
On all of them. They all have. I mean,
the Super Nintendo Mini lineup is pretty darn good, though.
Yeah, well, the lineup on all of them are good. Honestly.
Whew, okay, that is a checkpoint after that box.
Asking, our reports of double input on the menu true? So it's not. I just think it's really, really touchy. Like if you hold down, it speeds up really fast if you hold it down for a little bit longer. If you tap
just
it,
like pulled weirdly or something.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't happen every time, but it does happen where you'll skip to like the next one. But I wouldn't like. I don't know if I would call it a double input. And I did, you know, because Shane's video was making some waves that day when it released about the double input, and when he pulled it down, he reached out to a lot of different people to see if they were having similar issues. And I went back and double checked. I know that Joe did as well, and he said we play columns, and so columns is weird the way that it's set up, and that if you go back and forth, sometimes if you press left or right and you just like tap it to go over one, if it's on a frame where if the next frame is when it's falling down and also moving left or right, it gives an impression that it's moving further than it should, but it's not. So
that's what happens on original hardware too, though.
Yeah, I went and I specifically tried it on original hardware afterwards, and it was exactly the same. Like it felt exactly the same. So I don't know. I don't know if he had a faulty system, if that's what ended up happening, or what. I mean, I'm not sure if he's doing more. If he's looking into it more. But I know that when it first came out, I told Joe to check out, because I was not able to check at the time. I said you should go into, because Contra Hardcore has an input menu where you can do button and D-pad testing. I said you should go in there and check. And I mean, I just said the people who played it and did the impressions video, I don't think that's an issue that would get by anybody. Like the menu is one thing. I mean, we said as much in our video. I said that the menu is very touchy. Mm-hmm. But if it was happening in games, it would wreck. Yeah, it'd be immediately obvious.
I saw we got a $5 donation from Witties on the Moon.
Thank you. It says, you're the patron saints of retro gaming. I've gone all OG hardware and I can't go back. Any chance of a video on your cable management setup? My cable management is a disaster. It's basically non-existent.
Yeah, I mean, I always like go into, go through phases of good intentions with cable management, and then it falls apart. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I have a lot to say on it. Like, I can certainly show how it's done in some videos, maybe, but you know, I am planning later this year to finish an unfinished room that I have upstairs and turn it into like a true retro room where like all of my analog consoles are going to be. And by analog, I mean not Analog the company. I mean actual analog consoles. And in fact, I actually bought the wood paneling for the room today, so it's probably going to be.
So you're just going to put retro consoles in there? I thought you were going to put some of your newer stuff in it too, or no?
No, I'm going to keep all HDMI stuff in my living room.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But I'm going to be able to capture in both areas.
Right.
So I might do a video on that, since it's kind of going to be like a process, like building a room from scratch. Like, it's not even a usable room right now other than storage. I mean, you know, it's going to be a process like building that room. So I thought maybe about just doing building a retro game room video, you know. Whoa! I wasn't expecting that.
It randomly just starts falling apart.
And I don't know if was I supposed to ride that thing or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of coming back to the subject of mini videos, and how I said it, we want to kind of use it as also a way to kind of get a little bit more experimental with episode ideas. Does anybody feel that they would not like that? I mean, as long as they're not taking it.
Some people don't like the minis, and that's okay. But
I mean, like, what if we just chose a game like new or old, and we played through it and we talked about it for.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that for a mini. I mean, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Those are meant to just be extra content, really.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
You know, as long as it's not like zero effort, you know.
Right. But I would like to do that, and it gives us an excuse to dedicate to playing through a game, which is sometimes hard to all the time do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea, because if we're just talking about it, going back and forth, I think that we can probably talk for a little while and just edit that down. And it's not like we don't put any effort into it. We made plenty of notes and everything. We had a huge bulleted list that we went through for the SNES stuff, and I ended up cutting so much of it out. It's kind of funny because we spent all this time talking about the old versions. I'm like, I'm just gonna get rid of it.
Yeah, well, we didn't want people to like look at that and think that like watching MLiG Mini is some like big commitment.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's the idea, is that it should be more of a well produced, but more of the like by the seat of your pants, by the seat of our pants, in a way. But I just think it'd be fun to just choose a game. I mean, that's why I thought that Link's Awakening would be kind of a fun one to do. And everybody is going to be doing has been doing Link's Awakening videos at this point. And I've only played through it the one time. And I don't remember anything about it.
It's good.
We would do a mini on the DAC. Like, we'd already talked about that, about doing that. I just don't want to give the impression that it's only going to be about video quality or emulation quality. Just us talking about the quality of those things. I would like to do more experimental things that are just more casual and whatever we feel like. I kind of feel like the going back to the Worlds of Power videos that'd be a really fun way to do a mini. And I could even still get other people to read the segments, but we just talk about the differences and discuss the books. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives us a way to go back and reassess certain older episode subjects, I guess.
Yeah, certain things that, like, I don't want to say are like beneath us now, but like you were nervous about going back to like the Sega Ages 2500 because you're like, oh, is that like, do people expect a bigger subject from us now than that? And
yeah,
I feel like with the mini though, we can feel like we don't have to do like some huge deal subject, you know?
Yeah, it can just be what we feel like we want to do. But I mean, I'm still gonna. The Sega Ages video was not very popular, but you know, I don't care. I just think it's fun to do them anyways, and I'm gonna come back to it more often than I have with the that I did from the last one. It was just really fun to make. So I guess, I mean, we'll see what happens. And it gives us a chance to talk about things that are more timely as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it can even be impressions of certain things that we may cover more in depth later on. I know that lunar video is something that I definitely want to do. When I was doing the Mega SD video, I played really far into lunar. I just like in one sitting. I was not expecting it. I played until Maribia, which is kind of it's a couple hours into the game.
You played pretty far into Breath of Fire as well.
Yeah, I mean, I played until I got Nina, which is still pretty far. The game it's a lot harder than I remember it being. I'll tell you that. In terms of the differences between John's Genesis mini video and the other ones that were done, we had a certain date that we wanted to release it by when that embargo goes up, or when the first embargo was up. So I think that's why we pushed it off. I think that John would have done a bigger video if he didn't have a billion other things to do at the same time.
This is a lot tougher boss because it's got 2 forms and takes a lot more hits than the other bosses have so far.
Well, Kevin Sevilla, I like doing stuff about Sega stuff, and I think that we've done a lot.
Yeah, I think we gotta do a little non-Sega for a little bit because we did a lot of Sega in August and September.
Yeah. What is the Gears 5 stuff that's going on? I don't know. I didn't see John has a response to Gears 5. What's been happening with?
I heard there was some. I guess someone made like some PS4 fanboy made. I don't even know who. I think some angry PS4 fanboy made an angry video about John saying Gears 5 is a really nice game. I don't know. All I know is it sounded dumb.
So is it not? It's not a good game. I thought it looked all right. I'm just kind of bored of the.
I mean, John said it was, he had some really neat game mechanics that he wasn't expecting. And that, like, from a technicals perspective, obviously, pretty impressive.
People were criticizing some aspects of his analysis, and he had a response that was essentially saying he should never cover the game. It was very disheartening. I mean, I think that's he should cover what he wants to cover. I mean, I think that's okay, and it's impossible to get everything right all the time. I mean, we have little errors all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the details are exactly, but I mean, apparently some people were pretty ugly about it.
Yeah, he generally has a lot less time to produce those videos than we do, especially since it's an actual big company that owns or that handles all of Digital Foundry stuff. You know, they have to make certain quotas to be able to continue, or to, I don't know. They have to do stuff that gets views.
Yeah, they have to put out a lot of videos.
I mean, if he released a video now that did the numbers that my Sega Ages 2500 video did, he'd probably get in trouble.
And, I think something a lot of people just may not be able to appreciate. And, John, said this up front with his, end of the year video last year. He said, my tastes skew a little more retro. And
yeah,
John and I have talked about a lot of interesting old games that, were poorly reviewed at the time, but we're looking at them and we're like, these are interesting. Like I've been playing Dawn of Mana lately. That was a game that got very bad reviews when it came out, and John was actually the one that there was a piece of music from the sound, even though I hadn't played the game yet. There was a piece of music in the PS2 episode from that, and that was his suggestion. Because he's like, it's actually an interesting game because it's got this physics system, and yeah, it's a weird game, but it's interesting,
right.
And I, some, especially a lot of the people who might be, more modern armchair gamer analysts may not fully appreciate the tastes of someone that likes an older style game. That's something a lot of people just can't wrap their head around, I feel.
DA is saying, wait, Digital Foundry is a part of a corporate group. Well, they're just they're not owned by.
They're actually somewhat independent. I mean, they are sort of part of Eurogamer, but they are digital. The Digital Foundry group is, that's Richard Ledbetter's thing. They are not fully under Eurogamer, but they are.
But they have a relationship with Eurogamer. Eurogamer. I'm not. I
don't know the details of it, but
I don't know how it works out, but.
But I mean, all of those, big gaming sites, have corporate overlords of some kind.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know the extent of their relationship, but I mean, they are involved to some extent.
Oh crap!
JF is saying, honestly, I would like John to do his own channel and move away from DF. I think his effort is wasted on new releases. I'd like John to join my life in gaming. I joked about it before. I can't. I don't think anybody out there would be disappointed with that if that was to happen. They're like, oh, screw this. I'm not gonna watch this anymore. Poach him. I mean, if we could pay his salary, then I would say sure.
There's no way, basically.
Yeah.
We would have to like suddenly be like a million subscriber channel to have that kind of money.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really not earning what like the effort that the two of us put into this. We are not earning that money anywhere close, but you know.
Yeah.
We just keep growing at how we can.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, we've always kind of joked about that, saying that I
mean, we've got very similar tastes in.
And not only that,
gaming.
But I think that we very much inspire each other a lot.
100%. I mean,
we talk to John essentially like every day, basically. Oh yeah, I mean he'll be here for Christmas again, so we'll pick another thing for him to be on stream again with us. Why don't we join DF Retro? I don't know if we'd be fast enough.
No.
I'm more than happy to appear on the DF directs and maybe episodes here and there, but I don't know. It'd be
a pretty intense workload for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah, you know, people, I see Whitey's on the Moon or Witty's on the Moon is saying older contemporary game reviews should be taken with a grain of salt. People slammed incredible games back in the day for the dumbest reasons, slamming 2D games because it wasn't 3D.
Yep.
You know, it makes me think of something like, especially we'll be talking about this at the panel in this issue of EGM. There's a review of Gimmick when it was still thought to be a US release, and it got like 4s and 5s.
There was where I can't remember if this was something you dug up or if I found it somewhere online, but there was some thing that was like you know, like criticizing that it's like, ew, Konami's just putting a 2D Castlevania game on the PlayStation. Look at this beautiful 3D Castlevania. Why can't you do that on the PlayStation? You know, I think this was like a real criticism in like in a magazine. Like, this wasn't like online commentary. Not that you had as much of that in 96 or 97 or whenever this would have been.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how things change, and I wonder if we'll see something similar to that in the future. People slamming on Gears 5 now, and then in years and 20 years from now, Gears 5 was definitely the best one in the series.
I mean, I think people are just really tired of Gears anyway. Like, it's a series that I still think would interest me, and I've got like the first one, the Xbox One version, but I still haven't really played through it. But I mean, it's a series that I think I would enjoy. So, but it is. I'm sure it's kind of dated at this point. But,
That fireball move is really powerful.
it's pretty good if it fires off
I feel
right.
like you're missing your opportunity to slide. You can probably slide.
No, only the sword girl can slide.
Oh, I see.
Which I was kind of considering taking her into the fight, but I feel like this girl is like the game's Maria, and she's. Whoo, that was close.
Oh, nice.
I mean, Maria can slide, and she doesn't have as varied of a moveset, but like she does. Like I feel like the sword girl. At first, I thought she did more damage, but I don't think so now. So I don't know. Oh, it's Yuko. I guess she's just in heaven now.
That's cool.
I don't know what was supposed to happen to Yuko at the end of 3. I feel like I read that at one point, but yeah, PC Engine cutscenes are pretty great. I mean, Sega CD has some stuff like this, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, like Popful Mail, but I definitely associate this look with PC Engine.
Yeah, Lunar's a lot like this.
Still need to play it. I mean, the PS1 version, that's what I've got.
I could see myself replaying the Sega CD version, so you should.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we should do a video like, I don't think a mini, I think we should do like a full video on like the Lunar versions. I wonder if Yuko is going to like power up the sword girl and if she's going to have stronger attack now.
Yeah, Lunar 2 has really good cutscenes in it.
PC Engine had the power to pull it off better. Surely PC Engine doesn't have more colors than the Genesis, does it? Something I never really gave much thought to, actually.
I don't know.
To be honest, I don't know if this game has a Western release. I have no idea, to be honest. There's a Super Valis 4 in the West.
Yeah,
I know that. I think that might be the only version of Valis 4 that came out here, maybe?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's considered as good. I think it's kind of like the Genesis version of 3 where it has a lot of cutbacks. But the Genesis version of 3 is still pretty popular. A lot of people prefer it. Maybe just because it's what they played, but... Oh, am I going to have to fight, Yuko? This girl's hair is purple on the cover art. Ah, it's got the music from the first level here. Oh, I can't change characters here.
I wonder if you're close, or maybe this is just a story beat type thing.
I don't know. This level 1 theme is pretty incredible though. Like I definitely want to use it in the video sometime. I have no idea if that was important.
Old graphics. Any teasers of upcoming episodes? I mean, I got a couple of things in the works. I mean, the Super NES and Switch Mini is coming out tomorrow, and I kind of got an idea for a more general episode I think I'm going to do next. is kind of an easier episode to do because we're going to Retro World Expo in like 2 weeks, so I have something I want to work on that is not going to be difficult to finish in that amount of time. So I think I'm gonna start that tomorrow. That's the thing I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I already forget what it was, but we'll talk about it after the stream, I guess.
Yeah. And that's just gonna be kind of a multi-game episode that I just think is kind of fun. Yes, Benicera, he tried finished it on the earlier today, or finished the first or the second to last script earlier today,
or yesterday.
Yeah.
The fifth one I hope will not take nearly as long.
Well, it's kind of wrapping everything up, so it might be harder than you think.
I mean, yeah, but there's less things I have to like double check and fact check in it, I think.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be pretty interesting to a lot of people, though.
Well, I think I saw out of the corner of my eye a donation.
Yeah, we got a $5 donation from Castlemania Games.
Oh, wow.
Because I explained to me the Game Boy player is not compatible with the original GC component cables. Say you.
That is not true whatsoever.
Yeah, that's completely wrong. It is totally compatible.
It looks bad. It doesn't look wonderful because the like with the default Game Boy player disc. But...
Yeah, I mean, I still continue to use them actually. I have the GC Dual.
I've got the Mark II hooked up right now. Although since I don't really use probably with my new setup, I'm probably going to have 2 GameCubes hooked up. So I'll probably use I don't know. I might use a Carby on one for HDMI, and then when the Carby component is out, I might switch to that. I'm not sure. Good thing there's no bottomless pits here, and the enemies seem to stay dead.
Yeah, we haven't seen in a while.
Who?
Eric, who runs or like works at a local shop around here. Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a lot of chance to visit. I guess I did it almost did on Friday, because always when I pick up my daughter from school. A little bit of time before that. You know, it's kind of funny. So, Smoke Monster and Chris from Classic Gaming Quarterly went to Digital Press Games after ABG's Video Game Con last week, and Chris got a couple of packs of those Nintendo cards.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the most recent video log, opened up a couple of the Nintendo game pack game cards.
And
they didn't come with any gum though, did they?
No, it came with 2 pages of stickers and 2 like scratch off game cards. So yeah. Like I didn't scratch the cards because like they're like a one-time play thing. Like if you like get 3 swords, then you I ran out of time. Like, why am I dead? Yeah, so it's like you like scratch off like 3 swords, and then you beat the moblin, and then but if you get 3 arrows, then the moblin killed you. Like stuff like that.
That'd be like a good premise for a movie. They have to play a full set of those, and if they lose, and then they die.
You die for real. The cursed Nintendo game packs. That wouldn't be a good name for the movie, but it's a decent working concept.
JF in the chat says that his store stocks those cards and sells them for $1 each.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The most interesting thing was that
Mario 2 artwork.
the Mario 2 artwork was really weird. Like, I've never seen it before. It just fascinated me. It was very off-brand, so I definitely don't know the details of how that came about. One of my favorite really weird things about Valis is how you can like slide straight across a gap.
Yeah.
Like, it looks really weird, but it's kind of fun. I forget what all games you could... Maybe you could do that in all of them. I can't remember for sure, though. And like, you can tell from like the way the platforms are laid out, they kind of intend for you to do that. Like, it's a weird thing to be an intentional mechanic, but it definitely is.
Okuo in the chat is saying you should do a video game of the month and then do a mini at the end about it. And lets the community also play.
I mean, that was in some ways like, that's not really what started my life of gaming, but like, it was kind of like you feeling like you wanted to do something like some creative audio visual thing with video games.
Yeah.
And you did like a podcast. Yep.
Yeah.
What was that, like maybe 3 or 4 episodes?
Yeah, you can listen to them, and they're in the podcast stream. For those that don't know, these live streams are put on. I make audio only versions of them for people to download and listen to. You can download off of like iTunes or a bunch of other podcast listening things, and it's just a live streams, just audio only versions for people who want to consume the podcast or audio or the live streams like that. And I put other stuff in there every once in a while. I put the backloggery game club stuff from like a year before the channel started, basically.
Yeah, I guess that's about right. For some reason, it felt like it was even longer before then than that.
It might have been. So if anyone wants to listen to that, they are available. Outdoors Inspired is asking what our thoughts on Bitcoin and Litecoin. Crypto stuff is very confusing to me. Our channel is enabled for the basic attention coin or basic attention token, BAT. We are on the list of that. Was kind of interested in that. Messed around with it a little bit. Someone local was kind of following it and got me into it, so I've added the channel to that, so it shows up so people can tip using it if they wanted to. I don't know. I mean,
I mean, it is interesting, but I've just got like such a mental block against understanding economics. Like I just it does not work with my brain. So I mean, I have such a hard time even understanding like the principles of it. Man, I'm going to run out of time. This tower climb is tough.
But just in general, I mean, I have a sign up for that, and I take advantage of it when I can. I mean, it just goes into a withhold account each month, and I don't think about it. So if BAT explodes in the future, like it'll be nice. It will be good for us. But for the most part, it's just something that I contribute to, and I let it kind of just go ahead in the background in a way.
Man, tough. This is like a huge room.
What are your thoughts on the site, the cover project? I haven't looked at the cover project in years.
Yeah, I mean that's been it's awesome that that's like still around even actually.
Yeah.
Like I did it get start with the DS, the GBA cases for DS cases? Because that's, I mean, I was on that bandwagon early on. I'm not anymore. I gave all my spare DS cases to a friend. I kind of lost interest in putting my games in not real cases.
Speaking of not real, I got a thing on my phone saying there's one new listing for Dick Tracy on the Genesis on eBay. I'm gonna see what it's the complete one. No, it's a cartridge only. You just got a couple of Genesis games from a friend, from our friend SSJN.
Yeah, I think
finally got Genesis Ghostbusters and
Shadow Dancer.
And Shadow Dancer. Shadow Dancer. I think you're gonna really like Shadow Dancer.
I don't know why I like kind of didn't think of it as like an important Shinobi game that I needed to get, but
yeah,
the more really I've seen of it appear in videos based on your recordings, I'm like, yeah, it looks good.
If they remade the Dick Tracy movie, do you think they'd mess it up? I don't know. I bet you they could do it pretty good now. Not that it was bad then. I mean, I remember I saw it several times in the theater. My only real problem with it is that they killed off all these kind of grotesque looking, interesting looking bad guys at the very beginning of the movie. I mean, it seemed like it was clearly made without desire to do a sequel. They killed off all these characters. Mellow Gaming, the Dick Tracy movie does have a really cool look to it. I remember reading something, and I don't know if this is exactly true or not, but the entire movie uses only specific colors like a comic book.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I did kind of go down a little Wikipedia hole about it a few months back, where I was looking at pictures of the different villains and stuff, because they're all so weird. and gross, like messed up looking. Zachary says, my butt is clenched so tight watching this.
It's
like,
some tricky platforming. The time limit is a real issue. Oh, there was a $1 that I think was just on the screen.
Yeah, I see it. It says from $1 from Raf8888. $1. Thank you. So it's PS1 backwards compatibility on PS2. What it is: emulation, partial emulation, or full hardware. Didn't it start out as full hardware early on, and then by the last revision it was emulation?
It was total emulation. Yeah, I think over the course of time it becomes less and less full hardware. I think maybe by like, I want to say like the 50s. I mean, I think even through like the very, very first Slim, it was still pretty much hardware. But there's definitely, I think, some things in it that are, even from the beginning, that are not quite true hardware. How am I supposed to get up there? Ugh, this is tough.
Oh, Volgar the Viking. You know, there was just a physical release of the Dreamcast version that came out in very limited quantities. I don't remember the link for it though.
Has that ever had like a physical version of like a modern console port?
No, but it's there's a digital version on Xbox One. That's it.
That's a game I want to play, but I think it's got ugly. I've never liked the.
John didn't like it, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he loved it. I want to play it, but it's I just like its sprite style. Like it never struck me as like. I just never thought it looked like it belonged in any particular generation. I don't know.
Really quick, I see that Outdoors Inspired says there's a web browser called Brave Browser, lets you earn free BAT token just for using their platform or browse the internet. It's pretty cool. I'm watching this on the Brave Browser right now. I use the Brave Browser exclusively, basically, for everything these days.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
And we also got a $5 donation from our good friend SSJ.
Thank you.
Hours after I packed your stuff, I had a little something came in that I had to send Try's way, so he should expect 2 packages.
What?
Oh man! And not only that, also in that trade-in that he got, there was a version 1.0 Revenge of Shinobi with both Spider-Man and Batman in it, and Rambo and Godzilla. Like the ultra rare 1.0 version.
I've just got a Sega Classics version. I think it's the only Sega Classics that I have.
I actually, for some reason, I thought I didn't know what I had, and I actually played through most of the game yesterday just to see what version I have, and it turns out that I have 1.01, which has Spider-Man and Godzilla, but it has bald Rambo and like the demon-looking Batman.
Bald Rambo?
Yeah, he looks like Rambo, but he's bald and has sunglasses on. So you got 2 packages coming in. I'm wondering what it is.
Oh, I think there's another $2.
It's from $2 from Gaming Blows saying, shout out to Unholy War for PS1. Try it after Prism. I familiar with that name. I can't picture it though. Like I know the name.
Yeah, I feel like that Prism should be next week's stream. It's been
no, we are doing the other. idea that we were supposed to do last week, next week. With it should have maybe a giveaway to follow.
Oh yeah, we did a little research to
work it out so that we're doing it correctly.
Doing it on the up and up.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The Strider Sid is, or Strider Sid is saying, I wish someone out there would do an HD Valis remake and or a reboot, a la the Ninja Warriors once again.
Ninja Warriors once again was awesome.
Yes, I mean, I haven't played a lot of games this year. I just haven't had a lot of time to do it. But as of right now, Ninja Warriors once again is probably my game of the year.
Mm. Now,
play, but
I'd have to really think about. But right now, I think my game of the year might be Ape Escape. I will say I am allowed to call Ape Escape Game of the Year 2019.
Well, I mean, that's what it's going to be. I mean, it's the games that we played in 2019. Exactly. And there's I think that would be a shocking thing for some people. It was, what?
I don't think I've chosen like a game of the year though that wasn't like a current release. Because like last year we chose Monster Boy. I don't remember if I like really chose it like, before. I mean, I the only reason we did choose was because like it was like pretty clear that it was our favorite game of the
year. Yeah, well, we just enjoyed it so much.
Right. So it's not like I went into that like oh, I have to pick a game of the year, you know?
It can be game of the year for both 1999 and 2019. They would make it appropriate for it to be the game of the year.
Yeah. Too bad I couldn't pick a Dreamcast game. maybe I can play through something Dreamcast and have a Dreamcast pick of the year. I did finally buy Crazy Taxi the other day. I'm worried I'm going to run out of time again.
Oh.
At least the enemies stay dead.
So SSJN just told me what the second package is that's coming in here. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you're going to die when you get it.
What?
You got a $5 donation from Whitey's on the Moon. I'm sitting here at the state police headquarters watching Try for My Life and Gaming play Valis IV on my work computer. Your tax dollars at work. Well, keeping the streets safe. We have to found a wasp nest like next to like behind. It's hard to say exactly where it is, but it's
that was behind, close. Oh, this is a nice background. Check this out.
The snow sled on the side of my house, and now we got to figure out a way to take it out tomorrow. No idea how we're going to do that. My wife got stung by a wasp earlier today. It was the first time she hasn't been stung by a bee in probably 25 years.
I've never been stung. Well, there was a time, like, I don't know if it really counted. Like, there was definitely a bee that was aggressive, but, like, the stinger didn't get stuck in, so I don't know if it really counts. Like, it was, like, kind of like, I thought it might have stung me, but I really wasn't sure. But like, do you ever have that like question? I don't know if you've ever been stung, but like, you ever like, like, what if I'm allergic to bees? Like, I don't know, I could be. And like, you can only be allergic to some bees. Like, I remember my first boss at my old job, like he had one day he had like some, like it was over the weekend, so I mean I wasn't there, but like he had some allergic reaction to some specific bee or wasp or something, or hornet or something, and like he'd been stung by something in the past, but like he had a reaction to this specific type.
Really?
Yeah. And so he had like I think he started carrying an EpiPen with him. Even though
wow.
I mean I don't know if like I don't know if that's like a common thing to do if like you're just like allergic to like one specific kind of bee. If you like I don't really know a whole lot about that. But like he started carrying it with him.
You know, the last time I got stung by a bee was the day that I bought Streets of Rage 1. And it...
Way back then, not the most recent time you bought Streets of Rage 1. I was with you the day you most recently bought Streets of Rage 1.
Right, but I mean when it came out.
Yeah.
So I haven't been stung by a bee since 1991. I think it did it come out in 91 or was it 92? Yeah, been 92.
I don't know. Man, I'm having trouble with this room.
Girls, I think it looks so awesome. I listened to some of the soundtrack on YouTube, and it's great as well. I was gonna buy it digitally, but I pre-ordered the physical version, so I'll just wait. Hopefully, it won't be too far off.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah, the soundtrack, from what I heard, makes it sound really good. But hopefully, that it does really well, so that it. I mean, Way Forward tweeted something about Double Dragon Neon.
Oh.
A few days ago, and
they give you some hope
on modern consoles, and Way Forward responded like, "Buy River City Girls." We got a 999 from our good friend Scott Davis. Thank you. Says, "Hey dudes, want to send some good vibes and include a PSA about the Totu. I assume 4-in, 1-out HDMI switcher. After lots of trial and error, it actually auto switches and accepts all signals I throw at it. Huzzah. Thank you."
Including OSSC stuff?
The OSC, as I like to call it sometimes.
I think this set of lives is going to have to be my last attempt at this game for tonight. Can you look up how many levels there are?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm not that far into the game, but it's hard to say.
Act 4, but it says there's a bonus level called Act X, so maybe there's 9 levels.
So it's showing 8 normal numbered levels. Well, this is Act 4-2, Level 2, whatever that means.
Well, the long play of it is an hour and 50 minutes.
So assuming that's someone that kind of knew what they were doing, that's relatively long.
Yeah, I mean, the level you're on now in that hour and 50 minute video is only half an hour into it.
Well, there's probably a lot of cutscenes in the end.
Yeah.
Look up the Super Nintendo version and tell me if it looks bad.
Super Valis 4. I mean, I've heard that it's really...
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't look bad. That one, the long play is only 31 minutes.
Wow.
And the level you're on now in that version is 12 minutes into it, so it's like halfway through the game. Clearly, you have the superior version. But if you see this, if it's I don't know if it's expensive or what, but you should just, if you see it someplace, you should get it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not expensive. I mean, I want to get Valis 2 as well, but that's the pricier one, but I might just have to do it sometime, just to have the full PC engine set.
Oh, it's a 35-minute game, 45 minutes of cutscenes at the end. It's like Metal Gear Solid.
Wait, really? Like?
I can look at the cutscenes.
Yeah, I'm curious how much is cutscene at the end.
Like the ending credits is 20 minutes, it looks like. No, maybe not. Oh, that must be the Act X. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, it's Act X. Okay, so looking at the last... So there is 9 acts. And Act X is the bonus. It takes place after the credits.
Oh. Does it look like it's anything hard? I mean, maybe you might have to do something special to earn it.
I can tell you how to earn it.
I really don't like these harp ladies because there's a very small window where you can actually hurt them.
Unlocked access. There are 2 hidden stages in the game. All you have to do is enable the hard mode cheat.
Oh.
After beating the last boss in hard mode, instead of getting the ending, you'll be taking the Act X. Finish the act with Lena.
Yeah.
The next title.
Not too concerned with doing
that. General Osimo is saying, any advice on capturing screenshots and footage with scan lines? The results don't always look correct on phones and displays. It's not so much that they look bad in screenshots. It's just the fact that your phone is scaling them to a weird size and just makes it look wrong.
I think he might be talking about like actually taking your own photo of a CRT with a phone, which is tough. Like, I don't
said, any advice on capturing screenshots and footage with scan lines? If you're talking about with a camera, I guess it's different.
And one thing too, I think like the color compression used by a lot of
just like H.264.
like a lot of capture cards, like there's just not enough picture information for them to do a good job like reconstructing the color or approximating the color, I guess.
Right. I say not camera, just screenshot. But yeah, I mean, I was having a problem with the Genesis Mini for some reason. Everything that I captured using the scan lines looked ridiculously bad and worse than other scan lines.
I think it's just your capture. I mean, I don't have a Genesis Mini yet, but I've had much better luck with my Magewell card in terms of capturing like, in terms of it like preserving the integrity of like scan lines and pixels and things like that, compared to the other capture cards.
Yeah, it works well on the Magewell. That's about it. I mean, sometimes.
Like I say, I haven't done. You said like Genesis Mini in particular was worse. I haven't.
Yeah,
been able to definitely do that. It's also difficult to capture like good 240 or 720p, like especially for things that like use red, like anything that has red, like brown or something like that. I feel like especially 720p, there's just less picture information for it to compress nicely.
Right. I had forgotten that Anthem even came out.
Yeah, it was extremely poorly received. Which is why I keep questioning, like, why? Oh no, I fell. Like, why are companies still obsessed with trying to like make the next big multiplayer game? Because, like, I feel like it only succeeds like 10% of the time. Even when it does succeed, you have to deal with your fan base like criticizing like literally everything you do.
Yeah.
Like they're just gosh darn it. It feels like there's no winning there.
Yeah, but I mean I'm excited about PSO2.
Yeah.
I am definitely going to be playing that day one.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a try too.
The channel was suffer because of it.
I was browsing the free to download stuff on the Switch eShop a few weeks ago, just out of curiosity. And I saw this one thing. I can't remember what it was called. There were like a few like free to play MMOs on there. And I'm like, oh, I was looking at the screenshots and it kind of gave me Final Fantasy 11 vibes. So I was like, oh, I'll download that and see. I didn't expect it to be good, but I was just like, why not? Just see what it's like. And it was not very playable.
Gaming Blows saying, "Who has the dirtier mouth, Coury or Try?" I mean, I don't know if you just like if you say the most like vile things, like when you're just like by yourself, you just say it out loud in your house. But I think that I probably definitely do. Whoever brushes their teeth less. I guess that's technically the truth. I mean, in that case, then I don't know. It depends. Do you floss every day? I've been flossing every day for a couple of months now. I've made it out of flossing.
I am definitely not a habitual flosser. You know, I basically floss when there's definitely something stuck in my teeth. You know, otherwise I'm I am a very very consistent morning and night brusher. I almost never miss. You know, some people are after lunch brushers. That is not me.
Well, the thing is, I have like kind of a small little gap appearing, like forming on between two of my teeth, like off to the side, because apparently one of my fillings is like rotating in place slightly, and it's allowing my teeth to shift slightly. And food, it's because of that, it's kind of food got caught in there, and you know, I wouldn't feel it in there. It'd be in there for a long time, so it would kind of cause a little bit of decay and cause a little bit of a pit. Mm-hmm. And they cleaned it out. It didn't, I mean, just like when I was getting like a typical cleaning done. But they said, oh, if you keep it clean, then it'll heal and it'll be fine, and you won't eventually have to get a crown or something like that. So that's kind of what got me started on the flossing every day, and I just get in there and clean that one out, like that little space. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell unless you're looking for it. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if I love my dentist. He's very like doom and gloom.
My dentist is very like, oh yeah, your teeth are always fine. my hygienist is whenever I'm scheduling an appointment, she's like, you know, if you need a little help making a decision, you're a really easy one to end the day
on. The way mine is he wanted me to, like, I had to get a crown on one of them, which was fine. It was a fine experience, and I like how I like that. I like everything about it except for the price. But so I've always had kind of a thing with like grinding my teeth. Like if I'm sick, I'll kind of grind my teeth in my sleep. Mm-hmm. And it was something I did as a kid, and I guess it really relates to I maybe clench in my sleep depending on how stressed out I am. Mm-hmm. And if I am stressed, and I've been really stressed a lot lately, and so he really wants me to get a mouth guard, just like a very thin.
Yeah, I don't know if he still uses it, but my dad has had one of those at some point.
Well, I mean, I had tried one years ago, but it was just one I bought at a store, and it takes the form of, you know, you heat it up and you bite into it, and it will take a form one time. But it was so big. But if you just get like a really thin one, you probably wouldn't even be able to tell you have it in. You'd be able to sleep fine. But I got the crown, and then he's like, "Oh, so you're gonna do the mouth guard now?" And I'm like, I can't really afford that right now. And he's like, "It's got to be sooner, so you're gonna start breaking your teeth."
No, my dentist is very much not like that.
I mean, I'm very particular about my teeth, and the last thing I want to happen is to start breaking my teeth. But he's like, you got to do it before you start breaking your teeth. I don't know. I just don't know if it's like lack of sleep and just like combined with like stress or what. I have this weird thing going on. I don't really know what to make of it. Where when I go to bed at night, if I fall asleep on my back, I will have a nightmare no matter what and wake up.
Really?
This has been going on for a while, to the point where it happens every time if I fall asleep on my back. And it's not just, you know, just like a typical nightmare, like, oh, I'm falling or something like that. It's like something really awful happens. Like
I mean, your wife would probably know it if you had like sleep apnea or something like that.
Right. No, it's.
But like but like I know that like sleeping on your back, I think that's like worse for sleep apnea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is it'll always happen. Then I'll go back to sleep afterwards, and even if I go back to sleep in the same position, I won't have a nightmare.
That's wild. I can't fall asleep on my back. I wish I could because I feel like in theory it sounds more comfortable, but I can't. Like I'm a side / stomach sleeper through and through.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that. I mean, there are times I guess I become more of a side or stomach sleeper as a parent because it's just out of necessity, because there's a lot of nights where you end up with like a sliver of the bed. It's just kind of happened. But I mean, I do sleep a lot on my stomach. See, Good Vibe Gaming, Good Vibe Collecting is saying I tend to get sleep paralysis if I sleep on my back, which is not a great feeling. It's not.
Do you have like sleep paralysis or night terrors?
No. But
I've never had that, but it's always like fascinated me. There was a guy in high school who I was kind of friends with, and I heard that he like sometimes had night terrors, and he was when I was on my high school trip to Germany, he was in my room 1 or 2 nights, and he had one. There was just this like in the middle of the night. I mean, I shouldn't laugh because it's probably horrifying. Of course, he had no clue when. Like people like asked like, "Are you okay?" in the room. He was like, yeah, like he had no idea. Like
and you're like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?"
Yeah. Well, I think that might have literally been the exchange.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Drum has a story that like he had like sleep paralysis one time, but he was like aware of what it was, like, so like he like woke up and he's like, there's like a spider the size of a dog just like standing there next to his nightstand. He's like, but he just like he like wasn't freaked out by it. He's just like, oh, I'm having sleep paralysis. He's just like looking at a spider the size of a dog, but he was like not scared because he was somehow able to immediately make sense of what it was.
That is horrifying. A spider the size of a dog.
Hey, what does your PC Engine sync to on the OSSC? Because I was having a hard time getting it. Like, it seemed to sync to like, I think it was like 60.26 or 28 or something like that is what it was. What it was doing. I thought it was lower than that, but it kept syncing up to that. I've had a lot of trouble on like the Super Nintendo lately, like getting it to like, I don't know if something weird is going on, or maybe I'm just paying more attention than normal, but it's not been getting that 60.08 on the Super Nintendo. Like I sometimes like have to turn it on and off a few times, because sometimes when it syncs onto the wrong one, like you'll get like drops, or maybe the audio might pop or something. Like Valis seemed to be playing just fine at whatever it was synced up to, but it was like 60.26 or 28 or something like that. So I I didn't remember it being that high. I remembered it being over 60, but you been napping, Sandy? Been napping?
It's wild. That is wild. Yeah. Anything else going on?
Not that I can think of. I just know I'm going to be getting Link's Awakening on Friday. I'm definitely playing that day one.
That comes out on Friday?
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah, the same day as the Switch Lite. Not that I'm getting one, but it's a little surprising to me that there's no like bundle for it.
Yeah, there's a patch coming out for Monster Boy. They have the 1.05, and apparently it's going to have a Switch Lite exclusive feature. I don't know what it could possibly be. What kind of new features does the Switch Lite have?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is if like maybe they did something with like the high def rumble or something on the Switch version. I mean, I don't know. I haven't even played my Switch copy. I've only played the Xbox One review copy we had. Monster Boy's gone out of print.
Interesting. I wonder if they're going to reprint it.
I mean, I guess I'm not. I mean, I guess it's the kind of game that I would imagine them only really doing one print run of, but maybe it's become difficult to find. You know, I think I've said this before, but I feel like looking at the game section in like Best Buy is fun again, like this generation. And I don't know if it's in part just because like I'm not as up on the news as I used to be. But like it just feel like more than before, and maybe it's just because of all the smaller publishers out there these days. Like I'll just like be looking at the games, and I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. Like I didn't know about this, or I didn't know this was out, or I didn't know this had a physical copy, or something. And like there's a PSVR, I think it's called like Blood and something. I forget what it's called, but it's like a full-fledged game sort of spun off of that London Heist VR demo, which I thought was kind of fun. Some parts of it were janky, but it was fun. And it's like $40 though. So I want to get it. Maybe it'll be lower in price like Black Friday or something. But like I didn't know that existed. I had no clue, and it's just like it kind of feels like the old days again now. Especially like, I mean, I bought Everybody's Golf VR. I had no idea that was a thing. I haven't even looked up any video for it, but I'm just like, that sounds like something that's probably good. So I bought it. But that said, like PS4 and especially Xbox One, like those sections are looking thinner and thinner these days. Like Switch, there's a lot of stuff in the Switch section at Best Buy, but
Yeah.
you could definitely look at PS4 and Xbox One and tell that like the generation is winding down. Like Sony is real thin on releases this year. I mean, they didn't even have anything. I mean, they weren't at E3, and they may as well not have been because they, like, the 3 games that they hyped up the previous E3 still weren't out, and still aren't out.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So, um,
well, is that going to do it for this week? Everyone can look forward to the video on the SNES and the Switch tomorrow. Yeah. It's a mini, but I mean, I feel like it looks nice.
Yeah. Since you cut out the talk about the individual games because it was way too long. I just want to say everyone should try Joe and Mac 2 on there. Or if you don't have Switch Online, try it on your EverDrive, your SD to SNES, or your emulator, whatever you use. Because I'd never tried it, and I think it's really fun. I was surprised by it.
We had a great time with it. We had great success playing it too. Online co-op.
Yeah, like there was shockingly little lag. Like it actually didn't jump out at me at all. We're both using wired connections, but I was pretty shocked by how good of an experience the online was. It was much better than the experience we had with online NES last year, for sure. But I was using wireless at the time, I think. So, but anyway, yeah, that was a surprising game for me. I definitely want to. I'm still not sure. When I looked on eBay, I saw a lot of repros, which makes me think it might be expensive. I didn't look too hard though, but I might look into maybe getting the Japanese versions or something. But it seems like a surprisingly solid game. So anyway, with that, good night backloggery. Or what? Good night backloggery. That's tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is good night backloggery.
Thanks to everyone who hung out, everyone who donated, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Good night.